Alright, welcome. This is Hidden Planet X, and today we're going to be doing a deck tech on Animar, Soul of Elements. Now, this is my personal commander deck. I built this to just basically have a fun time and cast big creatures, so it's not super mean, but Animar himself is pretty hard to deal with. So, I'll start it off. Animar is a 1/1 elemental for uh, red, blue, green. So the rug colors. It's got protection from white and black, and whenever you cast a creature spell, you can put a +1/+1 counter on it. And creature spells cost one generic less for each +1/+1 counter on animal. So basically, you just want to be casting a bunch of creatures, and he basically keeps mana costs really easily. So I'll start with the non-creature spells since they're mainly what I have. Crystal Shard, 3 mana. You can pay 3 or blue and tap it to return target creature to its owner's hand unless its controller pays 1. Now, a lot of people are thinking that's an awful bounce spell, but you often want to just play it on yourself. It saves Animar from being destroyed from a board wipe, and if anything, you can bounce something and then replay it for additional value. And occasionally you'll catch someone else, but not normally. Next up is Mage Slayer. Now this is kind of a pet card for me. It's not amazing, but I like it. For 1 red-green equipment that whenever a equipped creature attacks, it deals damage equal to its power to the defending player. So when Animar is a 10/10, you're swinging for 20 basically. So other than that, it's not amazing. It's just kind of a fun card. The Soul Ring, you have to have it as 2 colorless mana. You really can't say no to it. And then Swiftfoot Boost. 2 mana, equip creature gets hexproof and haste, equip 1. Protection against the green, against anything it doesn't have protection from. That's artifacts. Let's go on to instants. We're running Counterspell, Counter Target Spell, and Cyclonic Rift. Because Cyclonic Rift, again, is one of the best cards in the format. If you're running blue and don't have it, I'm really questioning why, but it's just a really nice card to have. As you can see, that's the last. I'll go on the lands. Again, my land situation isn't perfect. I don't have any of the shocks. I don't have any of the fetches, so you gotta have you gotta use what you have. First up, Alchemist's Refuge. Taps for colorless, and for green, blue, you can tap it, and you may cast non-land cards this turn as though they flash. So since Profit got banned, this is a way to end of turn cast all your fatties. That way you can untap with them. Command Tower taps for any mana of any color. Anything other than monocolor should be having this. Exotic Orchard, it taps for mana of any of your opponent's lands. So, yeah, sometimes it won't really produce the mana you want to, but it's an untapped command tower essentially in a large game. By Forest, a Frontier Booviac, it taps for Teamer. Hinterland Harbor, the blue-green checkland, Homeward Path, tap each player gains control of all creatures he or she controls. Again, you have a lot of nice creatures. You really don't want your opponents to steal them. So, 6 islands. Is it Boilerworks? The red-blue bounce land. Again, there's not a whole lot of land hate in my meta, so I don't worry too much about this getting strip mined or wastelanded. So, the red-green gameland need the fixing. Keswick Wolf Run taps for colorless and for X, and red-green target creature gets +X/+0 and trample. So even if you're not pumping this up for 2 mana, you can give target creature trample. With Animar, it's really helpful to actually push through damage because a lot of the time you are killing them on commander damage. Llanowar Reborn enters tap and it is graph 1. So not amazing, but sometimes you need to reset. Sometimes Animar gets killed, and resetting with an additional +1/+1 just helps out. Lumbering Falls, it adds blue or green, sorry, And for 2 blue green, it becomes a 3/3 green and blue hexproof elemental creature. I wish it had flying, I really do, but again, if you have like it blocks, and a lot of people really don't look at. Next up, Mazavith, an untapped target attacking feature, prevent all combat damage that be dealt to it or dealt by it. So it can save your Animar, or it can get that pesky Blightsteel Colossus off your back for at least for a while. Mosswort Bridge, it's got Hideaway, which lets you, when it enters, put one of the top 4 cards under it, exiled. And for green and tap it, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if you control creatures with power 10 or greater. That's total, not individual. So with Animar and 55 creatures, you'll generally get it. 3 mountains. I'm very light on red, so that's why I only have 3. Opal Palace adds colors, and for 1 tap it. It produces any mana of any color, and if it's cast on your commander, it comes with additional +1/+1 counters equal to the number of times you cast it from the command zone. Uh, Really simple. Gives Animars counters, which makes everything cheaper. And even if it's your first time casting it, it comes with the +1/+1. That's still a mana save. Like you don't lose any mana from making that colorless mana because the +1/+1 counter reduces all the costs by 1. Rogue's Passage, taps for colorless, and for 4, tap it. Target creature can't block this turn. Again, a lot of times you're going to be trying to kill someone with Animar, which is really hard to deal with. So, Rootborn Crag, the red-green check land. Rupture Spire enters tapped and sacrifices once you pay 1. Again, fixing. Strip Mine because you have to deal with pesky things like Mazavith ruining your day. So that's why you're running it. Temple of Abandon, enter tap, scry 1. It's the red green Skyland. Again, we're running a lot of creatures, so we need as much toolbox as we can from our lands. So that's why I'm running them. Temple of the False God. Sometimes Animar gets killed a few times, so more mana the better. Terramorphic Expanse, yeah, it should be a shockland, or shockland. It should be a fetch, but don't have one, so that's what I'm using instead. And then the cycle of Vivid Crag, Creek, and Grove. They're the same thing. They enter with 2 charge counters. They tap for their individual color, and then you can move the charge counter, tap it, and add 1 mana of any color. Again, fixing if you need it. Okay, move on to the meat of it. The creatures. We'll start off with Anger. 3 in a red for a 2/2 Incarnation haste, and as long as Anger is in the graveyard and you control a mountain, creatures you control are haste. So, yeah, you're not going to be getting them out generally the first few turns, but late game when Animar dies, you can come back with haste, or any of your big things coming back with haste is really nice. Yeah, you're not running a whole lot of mountains, but generally you'll get them. Avenger of Zendikar, 5 and 2 green, 5/5 elemental. When he enters, put X01s where X is the number of lands you control, and landfall, put +1/+1 on each plant. So yeah, you're not really going to get the full value of casting him generally, but he's still just a really nice creature, and even cheating him out and getting 4 or 5 plant tokens, and then starting pumping those up, it's really nice. Balefire Dragon, 5 and 2 red for a 6/6 flying Durgan. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. So against like mass tokens that aren't massive itself, if it connects to a player, it just wipes the field of them. So really nice card to have. Bane of Progress, 4 and 2 green for a 2/2 elemental. When it enters, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Put a +1/+1 equal to the number of permanents destroyed this way. So you're only running 4 artifacts and no enchantments, so it's not really going to affect you like it will the blue player that's playing 6 different mana rocks. So Birds of Paradise, one green mana for 0/1 flying bird that taps at it, a mana of any color. For the turn 2 Animar, it's really nice. It gets you a turn ahead. It also blocks flyers in case you need to. Next up is Bronze, 3 mana and a green for a 3/3 incarnation with trample, and as long as it's in the graveyard and you control a forest, gives your other creatures trample. Again, just in case they can chump block, Animar can still at least deal some damage. Burner's Heart, 3 colorless for a 2/2 elf. You can pay 3, sacrifice it, search your library for 2 basic lands, put them on the battlefield tap. It's a ramp spell. Yeah, you're wondering, it's technically full value at full mana. It's 6 mana to do it, but you can usually cast them for free, and it is a colorless creature, so even if you need to get the counters up for 2 or get the counter to 3, it's easy. That way you don't have to devote any actual mana to it. Next up, Conduit of Ruin. A newer include. I haven't done too much testing with it, but it's working quite well so far. 6 colorless mana for a 5/5 Eldrazi. When you cast it, you may search for a colorless creature with CMC 7 or greater, reveal it, and then put it on top. And the first creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast. So that when you cast him, you're not going to get any value. Well, you're going to get the search trigger, but you're not going to get the 2 cost reduction until the next turn, whether that be your opponent's turn or whatever. But he does grab some nice things. Like, yeah, I have the Eldrazi's, but I've also got where is it? Nullstone Gargoyle, which I'll explain later. And so it's just a good Kubasi card. Next up, Consecrated Sphinx, 4 and 2 green for a 4/6 flyer. Whenever an opponent draws a card, you may draw 2. Again, really nice card in blue. Lets you draw a lot of cards, and Animar has the problem with he doesn't have a whole lot of card draw, so you can often dump your hand, someone will board wipe, and you'll be stuck left with nothing. Deadwood Treefolk, 5 and a green for a 3/6 Treefolk with Vanishing 3. It enters a 3-time counter at the beginning of the upkeep. You remove its time counter, and when the last one is removed, you sacrifice it. So when it enters or leaves the battlefield, return another target creature card from your graveyard to hand. Yeah, E-Witness is probably better, but this is only a single green, and you can do it more than once. I also probably should put in the elemental E-Wit as well, but currently this is working just fine for me. Next up, Duplicate, 6 colorless for a 2/4 Shapeshifter with Imprint. When it enters, you may exile target non-token creature, and as long as the card was exiled was a creature, as long as the card exiled was a creature card, its Duplicate's power and toughness and creature types are the same. It doesn't get any abilities, but does generally become larger. So again, it's a colorless thing that you can also cast for free, and it's removal. So what more can you ask? It also exiles instead of destroys in case you're running into something indestructible. And if you do exile, say like an Ulamog, this thing becomes an active. Sorry about that, I have a bit of a cold today. So next up is Elvish Visionary for 1 and a green. It's a 1/1 elf shaman that when it enters, draw a card. Again, you need a few low costing things to kind of curve up, and this replaces itself for basically green mana. So Eternal Witness, 1 and 2 green for a 2/1 human shaman. When it enters, return card from your graveyard to your hand. Really good green card. It lets you get back anything. Next up, Forgotten Ancient, one of my favorite cards of the deck. For 3 and a green, you get a 0/3 elemental. Whenever a player casts a spell, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Forgotten Ancient. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you may move any number of +1/+1 counters from it to another, or to other creatures. So basically, people start casting things, even if they only cast one spell a turn, that means at the end of when you get back to your upkeep, it's going to have 3 +1/+1 counters on it. Meaning, even if Animar is on 1/1, it becomes a 4/4. So, and this thing becomes huge, really easy. Next up, Garrett's Pack Leader, 4 and a green for a 4/4 beast. Whenever another creature with power 3 or greater enters, uh, we draw a card. Again, it's really easy to run out of cards with Animar, but with I have a few different cards that draw you on creature entry, and it just lets you keep your hand full. Next up, Genesis for 4 and a green. You get a 4/4 incarnation. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Genesis is in your graveyard, you may pay 2 and a green. If so, return target creature card from your graveyard. So upkeep, you can just start gaining creatures back. Again, just another way of keeping cards in your hand so you can cast them. Next up, an always fun card, Gilded Drake, 1 and a blue for a 3/3 Drake with flying. When it comes into play, exchange control of it and another creature an opponent controls, or you sacrifice it. So basically, it's a better mind control. The only downside is they get a 3/3 flyer, which big deal with Commander. Next up, Jin, Cataxis, or Augur, 8 and 2 blue for a 5/4 Parade of Flash. At the beginning of your end step, draw 7 cards. Each opponent's max hand size is reduced by 7. So, really good, especially with some, like, 4 counters on Animar means this is 6 mana. And at 6 mana, you really can't not play this card. Like, yeah, it can be a little mean if no one can deal with it, but it's a fun card, and at least you'll probably have fun playing it. Next up, Kamal, Fist of Kroza, 4 and 2 green for a 4/3 human druid. Pay 1 green, target land becomes a 1/1 creature until end of turn. It's still a land. So, I'll read the other ability, I guess, too. For 2 and triple green, creatures you control get +3/+2 and gain trample. So, it's either an overrun or a wrath protection. Generally, you don't want to make your own lands creatures unless you're trying to kill them, but often you put this out if you think someone's going to board wipe. So in response, you make all their lands forest and they just wipe themselves out, assuming they're not running the non-land board. Mana War, 2 and a blue for a 2/2 jellyfish. When it enters, return target creature to its owner's hand. So this is one of the ways you can quickly get counters on Animar. Instead of bouncing an opponent's creature, you can bounce itself. So essentially, for 1 blue mana, it reads, give Animar a +1/+1 counter. So if you have nothing to do, just Mana War, Mana War, Mana War, Mana War, Mana War, and Animar is at least like a 5/5 and swinging in for 6, or sorry, 5. Mistfire Weaver, another newer include. I haven't gotten a whole lot of testing. It is a 3/1 flying dingy wizard. You technically can cast it for its normal cost, which is 3 and a blue, but almost entirely you're going to morph it. Just to let you know, Animar's cost reduction does work on morphing a creature, so you can morph it for free. Unfortunately, you cannot unmorph it for free, but this is when it is turned face up, target creature gains hexproof until end of turn. So it's just another protection spell for Animar and another free creature that you can cast. Also, there is another morph creature in this deck, so that at least that way you can keep them guessing. Next up, Mystic Snake. For 1 green and double blue, you get a 2/2 flash snake. When it enters, counter target spell. It's a 3 mana counter spell that gains you a body and gains you a counter. So you're not running a whole lot of you're not running much in the way of counter magic. I also want to include Draining Welk in this list, but I don't have one currently, so I'm working on getting one. Next up, Nullstone Gargoyle. 9 colorless mana. Now, what do you get for 9 colorless mana? You get a 4/5 flying gargoyle. Whenever the first non-creature spell each turn is played, counter that spell. So that stops anyone, including your opponent. So if you're not generally playing any creature spell, or non-creature spells, sorry. That way you drop this, and they have to just start 2-for-1ing if they want to do anything. So, and again, it's just a really good card. You can get it off of your Conduit of Ruin, so that's a good thing. After that is Oracle of Moldiah. For 3 and a green, you get a 2/2 Elf Shaman with you may play an additional land on each of your turns, and you play with the top card revealed, and you may play lands off the top. So, really good ramp spell in green. It just lets you dig through the lands on the top of your deck and lets you ramp. Next up, yes, I'm running Palancron. It is one of the infinite combos with Animar, but sometimes you just need to end the game, and I'm not running Tooth and Nail. I'm not running Deadeye. So I think just having this is not terrible. So what is it? It's a 4/5 flying illusion for 5 and 2 blue. When it enters, untap up to 7 lands, and for 2 and double blue, return it to its owner's hand. So what does this really read? It reads 2 mana for a 4/5, untap 7 lands, and then you pay 4 mana to return it. So if you realize, assuming you don't have any bounce lands that add 2 or anything like that, this nets you an instant mana, assuming you already have 4 blue mana. So it's an infinite mana spell. Animar will get infinite counters if you have anything that instant ETBs, like Garrett's Pack Leader or something like that. You can draw your deck. So also, you don't have to return it instantly. You can wait in case something happens. But so next up, Phantasmal Image, 1 in a blue for a 0/0 illusion. You may have it enter as a copy of any creature, except it gains when this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. So it's a clone effect for 2. Any creature doesn't target. The only downside is you have to be careful because it's really fragile. But when you're getting 2 Nullstone, or not 2 Nullstone Gargoyles, when you're getting 2 Gilded Drakes or 2 Pack Leaders, Forgotten Ancient, Ewit, like anything, it becomes really nice. Next up is Phyrexian Metamorph, 3 and a blue Phyrexian mana. You get a 0/0 Shapeshifter. When it enters, you may have it enter as a copy of any artifact or creature, except it's an artifact in addition to its set. Another clone effect, this is another free spell with Animar, so it's just really hard not to say not to have it. Next up, Prime Speaker Zagana, 2 green and 2 blue for a 1/1 Merfolk Wizard. When it enters the battlefield, it does enter the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the greatest power among other creatures you control. When it enters, draw cards equal to its power. So, worst case scenario, you're drawing 2 cards because it's going to enter as a 2/2 and you're going to draw 2 cards. But again, Animar doesn't have a whole lot of card draw, and yeah, it's really heavy on the color restrictions, but you really need to draw cards. If not, how else are you going to kill your opponent? Next up is Primordial Sage. For 4 and 2 green, you get a 4/5 Spirit. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may draw a card. So yeah, you can't flicker anything to draw cards, but again, most of the time you're just casting things, and it lets you draw cards off any size creature, which is good. Next up is Rattleclaw Mystic, 1 and a green for a 2/1 Shaman that adds Teamer, and it has Morph. For Morph, you can unmorph it for 2 generic, and when you turn face up, you add Teamer to your mana pool. So this actually can net mana. And so you cast it for free, unmorph it for 2, and you get 3 mana out of it. So you've actually net mana. Next up is Reclamation Sage, 2 and a green for a 2/1 Elf Shaman. When it enters, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Again, someone's gonna have something really nasty, and you're gonna have to destroy it. So next up, Rurik Star, the Unbowed, 4 and green red. For you get a 6/6 Ogre Warrior with Vigilance and Reach. Yeah, weird color combination for that, but it doesn't really hurt it too much. It has to attack each turn if able, and whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, it deals 6 damage to that player. So you're running, I believe, 6 non-creature spells. It's not really going to affect you, but the 6 damage will kill your opponent. Even can't if they can't kill it and still cast a spell each turn, that's 6 damage, and then on the second turn they can kill it. That's still 12 damage it dealt, assuming it didn't connect on anyone. So yes, it has to attack each turn it's able, but it doesn't say where it has to attack. And technically, if you do keep it tapped, you can stop it from attacking. Next up, another fun card, Sages of the Anima. Not a lot of people know about this card just because if you're not in a super heavy creature deck, you really don't want it too much. But for 3 and blue-green, you get a 3/4 elf wizard. If you would draw a card, instead reveal the top 3 cards of your library. Put all creature cards revealed this way into your hand, the rest on the bottom. So this actually will stop Nekuzar because you don't draw any cards, and it'll actually stop you from milling out because at the end of the game you don't have any creatures left. It's going to see 3 lands, then put them back on the bottom, and you're not going to draw any cards. So this actually does stop you from milling out, and if you get multiple draws a turn, it'll trigger each time. So you can basically, it's one of the quickest ways. It's almost a draw 3 card. Next up, Sakura Tribe Elder. 1 and a green for a Snake Shaman. 1/1, sacrifice it, search your library for basic land, put it on the battlefield tap, then shuffle. Again, you need small creatures to ramp up for Animar, and this ramps you as well, so can't really say no. Scavenging Ooze. 1 and a green for a 2/2 Ooze. Exile target card from the graveyard. If it's a creature, put a +1/+1 on Scavenging Ooze and you gain 1 life. So, again, graveyard hate, and it does gain you some life, and it does get a little bigger. Generally, you just want to get rid of the problematic cards, but again, it's a nice card to have. Scuttlemoot, one of my sleeper cards in this deck. For 3 colors mana, you get a 2/2 Scarecrow, and you can tap to add 1 mana of any color, so it's a mana rock. But you can tap it and target creature becomes color or colors of your choice until end of turn. That way, with this on the field, you make any creature you want white or black, and that stops them from killing Animar. It doesn't stop spells, but any creature effect, it stops. So, next up, Seedborn Moose, 3 and 2 green for a 2/4 spirit. Untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. It's a replacement for Prophet of Crufix that did get banned. It's not as powerful because it doesn't give you the flash ability, but having mana up whenever you want and giving all your things pseudo vigilance is not bad. Next up is Silk Lash Spider for 3 and 2 green. You get a 2/7 reach. For X and 2 green, it deals X damage to each creature with flying. Again, this stops the mass flying token strategies like Torrand or just many of the other Angel decks. You don't have too much flying, so it doesn't bother you too much. You have an occasional 6/6 Durgan, but it doesn't. Generally, you won't put enough mana in to kill the dragon, but you will kill any. Next up, Solemn Simulacrum. 4 colors mana for 2/2 Golem. When it enters, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it into tap, and when it dies, you draw a card. Really good value card. You can cast them for free a lot of the time. Ramp you. Just, you can't say no to a Solemn. Somber World Sage. 2 and a green for a 0/1 human druid. It taps to add 3 mana of any 1 color to your mana pool, but you can only spend this on creature spells. Your deck is almost entirely creature spells, and this becomes a 1 mana tap for 3. So again, you can't really say no to it. This thing on turn 3 will ramp you to 6 on turn 4, assuming you don't play a land, and it's casting a creature spell, of course, but it's insane. This thing is just amazing to have out. Next up, Soul of New Phyrexia. 6 mana, 6/6 Avatar with Trample. And for 5, permanents you control gain indestructible 10 of turn. Really good anti-board wipe effect. If you cast it for free, you can often just hold the mana up. And for 5, and exile it from your graveyard, permanents you control gain indestructible again till end of turn. Again, it stops board wipes even from the grave, which is nice. And 5 mana is not too hard to hold up if you cast everything for like 1 to 2 mana. Next up, Soul of the Harvest, 4 and 2 green for a 6/6 elemental with trample, and whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. It's like the Sage, but it's non-token creatures, and it's not a cast, it's an enter. So, again, with both of them out, you're drawing 2 cards a turn for each creature, so it just lets you go through your deck pretty quickly. Spearbreaker Behemoth, 5 and 2 green for a 5/5 beast. It's indestructible, and you can pay 1 target creature power 5 or greater is indestructible for the turn. So it's just really good way of protecting your large creature threat. Like anything you really want protected, except for where is it? Oh, back up here. Except for your Nullstone Gargoyle, which unfortunately is not strong enough. Most of your other big things will survive, assuming you ban it up. But it's pretty easy to tell when there's a wrath coming out. So, next up is Sirach Dragonclaw, 2 and a Teamer for a 6/6 human warrior with flash. It cannot be countered, and creature spells you control cannot be countered. Other creatures you control have trample. So, you really can't say no to it. You can flash it out at instant speed, it can't be countered, and it stops the blue decks from just having their way with you. As well as giving trample to get through, so it's just such a good card. Next up, Healer Sabertooth, 2 and 2 green for a 4/3 cat. With 1 and a green, you can return another creature you control to its owner's hands. If you do, this gains indestructible for end turn. Again, another way to save your guys from board wipe or just keep playing them over and over again. Terrastodon, 6 and 2 green for a 9/9 elephant. When it enters, destroy up to 3 target non-creature permanents, and they gain an elephant for each permanent destroyed this way. So, again, hate on artifacts and enchantments or lands. It does hit lands. Just be careful if you do give all 3 elephants to one thing. If you swing in with your Terrastodon, it can just triple block and kill it. So that is one thing. Next up is the new Ulamog. Ulamog is Hunger for 10 colorless. You get a 10/10 Eldrazi. When you cast it, exile 2 target permanents exile 2 target permanents. It's indestructible, and whenever it attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of his or her library. It's a 10/10. So basically, you generally don't cheat this thing in like a lot of other players do. So you generally do get the exile, the cast triggers, and it just kills things really quickly. It doesn't have Annihilator like the other Ulamog we're gonna get to, but it's actually a bit cheaper too. So you can get them out a little earlier, assuming you haven't gone off. So, next up, other Ulamog. By the way, you can't have both Ulamogs out at the same time. They do have a different name. So this is Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre. For 11 mana, you get a 10/10 indestructible. When you cast it, destroy target permanent, Annihilator 4. So, when this creature attacks, defending player sacrifices 4 permanents. If you're ahead, this keeps you ahead. And when it's put into a graveyard from anywhere, shuffle it back in. So, you can't reanimate this one like you can the other one, but often this one I say is better because most of the time people are just going to hate on you for having the Annihilator. So, next up, Uvenwald Tracker, 1 green mana for a 1/1 human shaman. For 1 and a green, you tap it, target creature you control fights another creature. Again, this is basically removal if the creature if Animar, assuming you're fighting with Animar. If Animar is fighting a white or black creature, again, it prevents all damage. Like, it's just a good effect. Next up, Vornclex, Voice of Hunger, 6 and 2 green for a 7/6 Praetor with trample. Whenever you tap a land for mana, add an additional mana of any type that land could produce. And whenever an opponent taps a land for mana, it doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Again, it's not a fun card to play against, but If you want to end the game, it's pretty good. That way, at least if someone deals with it, the mana doesn't untap. So what for them? So it's also really good to power out your bigger creatures in case Animar is not on the field. Next up, the last of our morph creatures. Willbender for 1 and a blue, you get a 1/2 human wizard with morph 1 and a blue. When it's turned face up, change the target spell or ability with a single target. So you can redirect it. So say someone's pointing a kill spell at it, you can just push that kill spell off to a different creature, not even one you have to control. It also works on abilities. So say someone's using Vorel, not the one collects Vorel, the one that doubles counters, you can move the counter, you can double that on Animar. Like, just a very versatile card. And there are a few ways of resetting Willbender. There are a few bounce effects. So, just nice card to have. Next up is Wolfear Silverheart for 3 and 2 green. You get a 4/4 Wolf Warrior Soulbound. When you may pair this creature with another unpaired creature, when either enters the battlefield, they remain paired as long as you control both of them. So basically, when this enters or another creature enters, you can pair it. When it's paired with another creature, each of these creatures get +4/+4. So that's another cheap way of getting Animar bigger. Now this doesn't cheapen any of the cost, but it does get Animar pretty huge. So next up, Wonder 3 and a green for a 2/2 flying incarnation. As long as Wonder's in the graveyard, you control an island, creature you control flying. Again, just giving another form of evasion to Animar really helps. What else? 2 and a green for a 1/1 elf. When it enters, search for a forest, put it in the battlefield, shuffle the library. So this actually is a free spell, assuming you have 2 counters on Animar. You play him for a green, grab a forest, it enters untapped. It's like you just got it for free. And then lastly, Xenagos, God of Revels, for 3 and a red-green. You get a 6/5 God. It's indestructible. As long as your devotion to red and green is less than 7, it's not a creature. It does cast, on cast, it does count as a creature spell. So it does get cost reduction. It's just once it hits the field, it's not. And at the beginning of your combat, on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste and +X/+X for X's power. So this gives things haste and makes them double its size. So another good way of killing people with Animar. And that's it, guys. As you can tell, it's a bit heavier. The average CMC is 4.6, and it's mainly green, secondary blue, and then third red. But it's a fun deck. It will draw you some hate because some people don't like dealing with Animar. But it's a fun deck. It has a lot of potential to become really, really competitive if you want to go that route. But this is my fun, I want to cast big things deck. So this is Hidden Planet X. Thank you for Tapped Out. This is not sponsored in any way, but thank you for offering your great services so I can make this deck. As always, the link will be down below. And this is Hidden Planet X signing off. Hope to see you again.